If you like pro wrestling and love listening to people argue about it, then you should check out The Gorilla Position at thegorillaposition.com. The Gorilla Position is a weekly pro wrestling podcast where friends discuss the latest happenings in the WWE, NXT, the Indies, Japan, and more. Come and get nerdy about wrestling with us at thegorillaposition.com. The Gorilla Position. Professional wrestling, amateur talking.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to issue 11 of Geek Pop Podcast. Josh, we are back.
We are back, Toby. We had had a very special episode last week.
Yeah, did you enjoy your vacation?
I did enjoy my vacation.
Me
not
too.
talking to you for a longer stretch of time was basically the best thing that ever happened to me.
I mean, that sounds fantastic. That's a good way to build on the show.
I think so. Yeah, I think that, the animosity that people love between the two of us, now it can start fresh.
We're gonna go big.
We are.
Decade 2.
You said that we were best friends earlier today. I want to point that out to people. That
I didn't use those actual words.
Listen, I was reading between the lines. You said that something was going to happen, and it sounded like best friends, and you didn't say best friends exactly. But again, I'm putting words in your mouth, but we're pretty close. Listen,
I'm glad
guys.
everyone's aware of this now. Everyone that's listening to this, I don't know if you knew this or not, but the people you've been listening to talk for the past 3 years, we're actually friends.
Guys, it's getting pretty serious between me and Toby.
Josh, speaking of getting serious.
Yeah, let's jump right in.
So, how much do your parents know of what we do online?
None of it.
Okay, so the most my mom ever knew, and probably my dad, was that we used to do the YouTube thing with the overanalyze stuff. Mm-hmm. And then the other day I was talking to my mom about how that video game company gave us copies of the game they give out and stuff.
Yeah.
So her and I were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this new thing on YouTube now, or I guess iTunes now.
This is on iTunes, yeah.
Yeah, on the internet somewhere. we do this talk show now, it's kind of like the Power Rangers thing, but different. And my mom was like, oh, maybe I like listening to that more than the Power Rangers thing, which I never showed her. And I said to her that this is probably not a good idea because I use a lot of bad words and there's stories you don't want to hear. And she was like, no, it'll be okay. She said, I listen to Howard Stern, I like that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay, she's on board then.
Yeah, so she was like, I'll listen to it, so, it might be funny to me. So I looked at her and I was like, Mom, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of stories that the version I told you, the tempered version, and then there's the real version.
Oh, no.
I said there's probably times where you can't handle the real version, and it's better off that you don't know about these things.
So you can't handle the truth, your mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
She knows she can't handle the truth. I'll get phone calls for weeks. If my mom heard any of these stories, let's be realistic. One of the first stories was when my mom walked in on me getting the HJ.
Oh, dear Lord. Yep.
I don't know if she blocked that out.
She knows it happened. Come on.
I don't need to come rushing back 15 years later.
I will tell you though, if she heard that one time you blasted ICP and drove through the festival, she would probably disown you because that's terrible.
I've done way worse. I haven't gotten disowned yet, so I'm pretty sure I'll be okay. But it came up because it was the day after I went to that country concert I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the concert, and I was starting to get a cold, and I felt like shit. I was hungover when her and I went for breakfast or lunch, whatever it was. So we were talking about it, and I said, "Well, I was like, Mom, this is how it happens. The tempered version for you is I drank last night. I probably got drunk. I got home fine. Everything is good." I said, "The real version is not what you want to hear about, so I'm not going to tell you." And she was like, "No, I think I can handle it." She's like, "Try me." And I said, "Mom, I'm telling you, this is your fair warning of not listening to what I do in real life and just listening to the fake stories." And she's like, No, I want a real story. And I said, "Okay, well, what really happened was me and my friends ran around the fair drunk, acting stupid. Then we got to my friend's house on the way home. I jumped on top of a car, and I almost got ran over by the car because I was drunk. And my mom was very disappointed with me and said, "What happens if someone gets hurt?" And I said, "I don't know. We were drinking."
Valid question, Toby. I also would like an answer to that.
I don't know, because she was like, wouldn't you and your friend feel horrible? And I said, "Yeah, probably, but nothing happened, so we didn't really think about it." And she just looked at me and she was like, "No, but what happens if one of you got hurt?" And I just looked at her and I was like, "I don't know."
That's really what you want a 30-something child to be saying, like, well, I don't know, nothing happened, so it's all good.
Yeah, Mom, I was just fucking around with my friends. I didn't get beat up again or anything.
Yeah, Mom.
I write this up I chalk this up as a win. This is on the big board.
Yeah, Mom, I'm well into adulthood, but I still don't think about consequences whatsoever.
Yeah, so that's why my mom gets the tempered version of my life and will never be allowed to listen to this podcast.
Well, I want to stop at this point and go ahead and give a shout out to Toby's mom listening for the first time this week.
I really hope she doesn't. I mean, well, the good news is she at least heard this story, so it's not as bad. But she's gonna be like, "What's an HJ? What's the HJ story?" And she might go to the archives, and that's not good for her.
Listen, I'll keep her time. Her time is precious, so I'll go ahead and tell her that's a hand job, Toby's mom. That means that someone was stroking your son's dick. And listen,
this is getting really fucking gross.
Listen, I know that that's not easy to hear because listen, it wasn't easy for any of us to hear either. But there are some realities in your son's life that you're gonna have to get on board with if you're gonna get on the Geek Pop train. Okay.
Remember the past.
Let's all right. So let's play along here. Ring.
We are not doing this.
Ring. we're not playing out the phone call.
There's no way in hell we were playing out this phone call right now.
All right, fine. But she's going to call. She's going to call, and she's going to wonder. But you know what? Maybe she's entertained. Maybe she's like, this is better than that Howard Stern show. And she's going to be, like, really on board.
I feel like hearing about someone else's sex life and fucked up stories with it is probably funnier than hearing your kids' fucked up stories.
I don't know. Have you listened to Howard Stern lately, though? Like, it blows.
Not for years.
It blows.
Are you saying we're better than Howard Stern?
Dude, I'm full on saying we're better than Howard Stern. And
Hashtag shots fired!
Toby's mom approves.
I wish we could put a stamp on this somehow. People could see.
Sure, we'll add a badge on the website.
Kid tested, parent approved.
Your mom's probably into Pinterest, right?
I hope not.
Okay.
She probably is. That one's okay.
Listen, let's talk about parents for a second. My mom is getting into Pinterest now, which is like half a step away from like her getting into Reddit, which really weirds me out.
Josh, do you know how many levels there are in Candy Crush?
A lot, I think.
Apparently like 650, because that's where my mom's at right now. She's on like Candy Crush revamp number 2, where it's like magic levels, where I was talking to her about it on a different hangout time, and we're talking about, I was like, you still play Candy Crush? And she's like, yeah. I said, what level are you on? Because the last time I checked in, she was on like 250. Uh-huh. And she just goes, oh, it's on that one where you have to talk to the owl to get past the one level.
Oh, that one.
And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Mom? And she's like, no, you have to do that thing with the owl stops you, and you have to get points, you have to do blah, blah, blah. And I said, Mom, do you spend money on this? And she said, I think she said once or twice. And I said, please stop, Mom.
Wow, she's put money into it.
And I said, Mom, what level are you on? And she's like, oh, it's like 600 something. And I just looked at her. I was like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I can't fault them for getting super into Candy Crush. I mean, you're the guy who just 100%ed Watch Dogs, so like, kind of toss up here, right?
I blame her. My mom blames herself for my video game addictions.
Does she?
She tells me she used to play pinball and Pac-Man while she was pregnant with me.
Nice.
I am 99% sure those sounds like went through her belly.
Probably did.
And just into my brain.
Yeah. I find so clearly your mom is a much harder core gamer than you would probably expect her to be if she's like level 650 in Candy Crush. I find that my mom is like a crazy hardcore gamer. It's just with like particular games. Like she has an iPad, right? And like I saw her, she was playing like some like match 3 game. And she told me like,
oh, Candy Crush.
No, it wasn't Candy Crush. It was,
Bejeweled.
It was some other thing. No, it was like some.
Pet,
it was some
Pet Hero Saga. Pet Hero Saga? Farm Hero Saga?
No, it wasn't any of those. Because right, so she doesn't have like a Facebook, so it's just like a random iPad game. But I guess it has levels. And
Bejeweled?
No, Toby. Good God, it was some game. I don't know what it was.
I think I just named like 6 games all the same thing. That's what I was going for. Puzzle Quest? Puzzle Quest 2?
She has definitely, I think, played some Puzzle Quest. Anyway, what I'm getting at is like she had like 100% of the first game because they had like built-in achievements. She'd like gotten all of them. She beat all the levels, and then she moved on to the sequel. And it was like, I was like, how much have you played that? And we like looked it up, and she'd put in like 100 and some hours. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're a harder core gamer than I am. It's just you're only playing like Bejeweled.
I gave my mom my hacked Nintendo DS for one of her birthdays.
Nice. Toby, there was a point in my life where I had a DS flash cart like that. So I was all the hotness around my social circles because I had like every DS game on my DS. And there was a point where I was like giving people instructions like, listen, you go to this website and you buy this thing, and then when you get it there, I'll help you download all the games. Like, yeah. So
Josh, I don't think it's called a circle when it's just 2 people. It makes a straight line.
That's true. My line of friends, which is literally just me and then one other endpoint who kind of ignores me most of the time, so it's fine. It's more, listen, it's a ray, Toby. It's not a line that has two endpoints. It's a ray that has one point and goes off in one direction forever, looking for its other half. That's my circle of friends.
I think I just drilled you, so we'll go to the next topic. Josh, I broke your video game heart again today. You
did. Listen, things got real today. Because, listen, I thought it was all fun and games, but you put me down today, is what you did.
This is what I call Josh, my quote-unquote, my best friend. I don't know how that happened, somehow, this conversation. But we're going to have a dramatic reenactment of the conversation Josh and I had earlier today.
Okay, let's do that.
So, you tell everyone why you're so mad at me for my comment.
Okay, so you've been getting, we have to set up some backstory before we reenact this. You've been getting really into Counter-Strike Go lately. Like, yes. Really into it. Like, we used to be really into playing Dota together, and you were super, super into Dota. Then you dropped Dota and moved on to Counter-Strike Go, and you always tell me how, everybody worshipped me in the game last night, and they were all, like, begging for autographs, and then I gave them autographs, and that's basically what I hear all the time. So anyway, so I mentioned today, just offhand, like, oh, hey, do you remember when we used to play Dota together, and it was this cool bonding experience, and we hung out, and it was a good time? Yeah, that was nice. And then I said, well, we never play Counter-Strike Go together.
That is true. This is all 100% accurate so far.
Uh-huh. And then you said, and we never will.
I said we never will again.
Never will again. We did once. We played together one time. And at that point, let me roll back the hands of time. I was being a jerk during that game. Mainly,
and that's why you're never invited again.
Mainly because I was lashing out, Toby, because I was upset and scared that we weren't playing Dota anymore. It was like when a teenager has to move to a new city and he starts rebelling just because he doesn't understand it, doesn't know how to make friends. That's what it was. Counter-Strike Go was my big city I moved away to, and all my Dota friends were over in the other city, and I was like, this sucks, and I was like, Counter-Strike sucks, and bombs are dumb. That was me.
Josh has warned me multiple times. He doesn't have the proper reflexes to play first-person shooters.
I don't.
So, between Josh sucking at CSGO that one day, and him fucking riding my ass the entire time, which was pissing me off, I decided for the good of the friendship that Josh is banned from ever playing this game with me ever again.
But it was like one strike. Like, I messed up one time, and now we're never gonna play it again together. You're gonna ride off into the sunset, everybody loving you playing Counter-Strike, and you're never gonna include your best friend Josh.
I'm never going to include Josh, yes.
Your best friend, Josh.
So for the sake of the show, and for the sake of the friendship, I thought it was safest if I kept Josh away from my intense first-person shooting lifestyle.
Toby tries to keep me at arm's length, but, like, it doesn't work.
Josh just weasels his way back in. It's like when I kick the dog away from me, and he comes running back.
How hard... Yeah, the harder you kick me, the harder I run back. How hard do you think it would be if, like, when you start matchmaking, if I started at the exact same time, what are my chances of getting in the same match with you?
I've been in games with the same random people 2 or 3 times in a row.
So, like, pretty good then. So I could be like that.
I'm ranked now, so I don't know if you'll.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if to put me with you, but we can try.
What's your rank?
If you're not on my team, I'll do that because I'm going to fucking just gun for you the entire time.
I just feel like, do you think
I'm coming hard at you?
Listen, do you think if someone's like really good at basketball, they would tell their friend who's like just okay at basketball, like, we can't play anymore? Just no.
If you were trying to get better at something, you don't want to play with people that are below your skill level.
What if it's a team sport and you just play with one of them that's below your skill level?
I don't know. Because if the other people... Because usually, Josh...
Yeah.
I am usually top 2 out of the 5 on the team.
Okay.
So there's already 3 people below me. I can't have 4 people down there.
Okay, well, I mean, listen, that's fair.
This is the most pompous conversation we've ever had, and I'm kind of just hamming it up right now, and I don't know if that's obvious.
No, this is mostly how you are all the time.
I feel like it's not translating well over the radio, Josh.
No, listen.
Josh, in this theater of the mind, I feel like I'm painting pretty broad strokes of douchebaggery of Counter-Strike.
It's just that most of the time, when you're talking your big game about Counter-Strike, you're doing it in text, so when you say it out loud, it sounds worse to you. But this is how you are all the time with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. There's some merit, Toby, in you know, if you teach someone something, you end up learning it better yourself.
So if I teach you to fish, you can hunt terrorists for a lifetime.
Exactly, Toby.
Okay, I'm still not going to teach you.
So, Toby, I was out eating the other
No!
weekend? I was.
No!
I was out in public. I was at a buffet. I know that buffets are something that you probably frequent as well, correct?
I hold them near and dear to my heart.
Buffet.
I've asked many a famous person what kind of buffets they like, Josh.
You have done that, Joey. There are public records of you asking famous people about their buffets. So listen, it doesn't need to be said, but I'll say it. You and I enjoy a buffet.
It's delicious.
It is. I went to a Chinese buffet, which is maybe my favorite type of buffet. A buffet.
You know what? I didn't ask you that question, but I have the answer from this famous person now too.
Yes, exactly, Toby. The famous person named Josh thinks that Chinese buffets are really good. I saw something at this Chinese buffet, Toby, that shook me to my very core.
Okay.
And
actual food, cleanliness.
Listen, I'm used to all that, but like, there's a certain level. Listen, we as a dining public know that going into a Chinese buffet, it's sort of us versus the food, right?
For sure.
It's us. It's not even us versus the food. It's us versus the restaurant in that, like, we all know that it's maybe not the cleanest and, like, maybe it's not the best ingredients, but, like, at least we're in it together. Like, at least we're not hurting each other in terms of cleanliness or, weirdness, anything like that. Except for this one fella that was at the Chinese buffet with me. So, all right, I'm in line. And I'm on the row that has, those sweet rolls with the sugar on them.
Yes, I don't frequent that row, but continue.
Okay, that's a good row. I love me a sweet roll with some sugar on it. So there's a guy in front of him, and I'm right beside him, waiting to get one. And he's looking at these things as if they're aliens, and he's like Tom DeLonge. Like he's looking at them as if he doesn't understand them, but he really, really wants to. And his head cocks to the side like he's a confused puppy dog. And this goes on for 10 seconds, like way longer than it should. He's super confused. And he's carrying a plate, okay? So he finally decides to grab the tongs. He grabs a sweet roll. Now, the next logical step is you put that roll on your plate. But no, not for this guy. He took it directly to his mouth, Toby.
Nice!
He went tongs to mouth.
You never go tongs to mouth.
And he walked away with the sweet roll in his mouth. Who does that, right? Like,
I'm actually at a loss for words right now. This sounds fucking amazing, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like he's watched too much Impractical Jokers, and he's like, this will be a funny prank to do. And just walked up and fucking grabbed the sweet roll and ate it off the tongs.
It was the worst. I stared at him as he walked away, just befuddled. Because it was like, what was his game plan? Like, if he didn't like it, was he going to put it back once he tasted it? Like, what?
I wish he would have. I wish he would have went full on sweet roll to mouth with this.
That is the only next logical step is, ooh, that's gross, put it back. But I wish
he would have taken a bite and just fucking spit it. Like one of those spits. And just sprayed sweet roll all over the fucking buffet. Like, this is gross, guys. What the fuck?
It's like when the baby eats the baby food that they don't like and just raspberries
just
it all over
it
the
out.
buffet.
Yep. That'd be amazing.
So I was so just shocked and grossed out and taken aback that I went back and sat down with a half full plate because I didn't even finish getting food, and I was like, I have to explain to you what I just saw. Just like monsters. So he kind of ruined the rest of my buffet meal because then I knew that he was exhibiting that type of behavior all over the buffet, and I just saw it once. But I knew it kept going.
So he probably put his mouth in the wonton soup broth and just sucked it up to taste it and bullshit like that. Had to have. Lapped it up like a dog? Yeah.
I think he licked all the cookies to claim them and he was going to come back later and get them. Yeah.
I mean, that's just safe.
Yeah.
I have two buffet stories for you, Josh.
All right, hit me.
First one. When I was out of college, there's a group of people I used to always go with for the Chinese buffet. Our one friend would only get Jell-O the entire time. He would just go up for more and more plates of Jell-O. He got thrown out for only eating Jell-O once.
What?
They were not happy at his rate of Jell-O consumption. It's
not an all-you-can-eat of everything buffet. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. There's no asterisk on the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Apparently there is. And that limit is you're eating over a fucking 15-cent Jell-O. Please stop.
Yeah, you're eating all of the cheapest item we have here.
How dare you?
Oh, man. That poor guy. I feel wronged, for him.
Good. I'm sure he will enjoy your 10-year later placement of...
I'm like Jell-O Batman. I'm going to go right this wrong.
You should. I think that place is closed down now.
Good.
So I think we won. The little guy won.
Good.
Josh, second Chinese buffet story. In college, We had a solid group of 4 that went after lunch. Went after class every day. Every day.
Every day.
I don't know why we ate so much Chinese buffet, but we did.
It's a lot of Chinese buffet.
So, the one day, we realized that they always took all 4 cups at the same time and just brought 4 cups back and placed them down. We decided that we needed to test who was getting what cup back.
Good.
Because it seemed gross if they were just giving out the wrong cups.
Yep.
So we all bent straws or bit straws in certain areas to mark whose cup was whose.
Yeah.
And any game of this, Josh, she gave us back the wrong cups every time.
No.
Yeah. So that tells me that the time she grabbed other tables' cups too,
Oh, yeah.
and brought it back to us, we were drinking random people's spit all the time.
Heck yeah, you were. Toby, I went to lunch today. It wasn't a buffet, but it was a restaurant where, the waitress grabs your drinks for you, kind of a thing. And at one point, she came back. There were 2 of us. She had one in each hand. She gets to the table, and she crisscrosses her hands and sets them down. And I was like, yeah, you didn't have this figured out. Like, you were the waitress who just came back and asked me, I completely forgot what you said you wanted to drink. Can you tell me again? So you definitely don't remember which was which.
Then there's that move and the stare. The stare as they set it down. And if she's looking at me while she's putting the cup down, I'm looking inside the cup as soon as the cup's put down to verify it's a proper beverage.
Yeah. It's like, you look like the guy who had the Diet Coke. No, I don't know.
One's Diet Coke and one's root beer. I'm not sure which one's which. You guys should just do the smell test when I walk away, and we're good.
She's trying to, pull it out of your soul. Like, well, he looks like a root beer guy, maybe.
Was he the root beer guy? Oh, God, I don't remember. Was he the root beer guy? Oh, my God, my tip.
The tip's gone. The tip's gone.
I don't know. One of my favorite tip things that this just reminded me of. Did you ever watch Third Rock from the Sun when it was on?
Yeah, definitely. All the time.
My favorite episode ever, that includes the best tipping method ever, was Dick went out to dinner with either the family or with the other professor, the lady professor he always liked.
Yes.
Do you remember any of their names?
No.
Okay. So, the important part was, they're at the restaurant, the waiter comes up, they order, and he just puts down 6 $1 bills on the table. And the waiter's like, what are you doing? And he goes, this is your tip. I will add or take away dollars as I see fit during this conversation, during this meal. So whenever whenever the waiter would screw up, he would slowly reach for a $1 bill and take it away in front of the kid. And then the kid would correct whatever he was doing real fast. And it seems like the best fucking way to tip somebody ever. Go full-blown douchebag, you are earning this tip or you're not earning shit. You're going to visually know how you were doing my opinion this entire time.
Well, I mean, it's kind of where the world's going, right? It's it's instant feedback. Instead of waiting until the end and finding out, you're seeing the graph go, and it's just represented by dollar bills instead of actually a graph.
Oh man, the heart rate of this conversation is starting to flatline. I better get this shit back on the road here.
Exactly.
You need a refill. Oh, we get to the refill real quick. Be right back. Oh, you dropped your fork. I got you a new one, buddy. Hey, look at that pile of dollars. Hey.
Oh,
hey.
It's too eager. Slips the $1 back in my pocket.
Fuck! Josh, you told me one of the most mind-blowing things to me, of my life and your life together, the other day.
Yeah, so I think it's probably well documented. I'm not a sporto, which
I do like how we keep going sporto.
Sporto.
This is always...
Yeah. Which, if you don't know, is someone who likes sports. I'm not one of those people, but I started playing fantasy football this year, Toby.
Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Da-da-da, da-da-da, which is the noise the app makes, and I don't know.
That's the ESPN.
It's like an ESPN reference, right?
It sure is.
Yeah. But every time something happens, it goes, da-da-da, da-da-da, and then I know
that's what they did on ESPN, too.
Yeah, and then I know that someone got hurt or something. So, yeah, fantasy football. So a friend of mine is really into football, and I always make fun of fantasy football to him and do, the old joke of, it's D&D for jocks, and I always tell him that he's playing D&D.
Real quick.
Yeah.
On the off chance you don't know what fantasy football is, basically you draft a football team, you pick a quarterback, running back, wide receiver. If you're not from America, it's American football, it's not soccer.
Yeah.
Just to clarify that up as well, because I know we have people that listen from not the North America area.
This is not fantasy footy. This is fantasy American football.
And if you recall, towards the beginning, Josh and I discussed a different fantasy draft we had for Dota 2, at which point I threw in fantasy football references. So this is really all tying together 2.5 months later.
I probably didn't get those references then, but I might now. But I want to point out that fantasy draft for Dota, that I kicked your ass in that. But
that's fine. I didn't try.
Listen, I'm gonna be real with you, Toby. I didn't even know how to try in that.
Yeah, dude, I didn't either.
Okay.
That's probably why we both won/lost.
Yeah.
So all I could do was stare at the screen and go, I guess this is a thing.
Yep.
Hey, the points changed. Fuck.
So I went into fantasy football, and everyone I was playing with went in, or at least the one guy who invited me, knowing that I knew nothing about football, and basically saying, like, you'll be fine. So, naturally...
We call those donations. In our leagues, we usually say, thanks for the donation after the first fuck-up.
Oh, well, there's no money, really, on this.
This is bullshit already.
As far as I know. Listen, I don't know. So, can you guess what my fantasy football team name is?
I have no idea.
Okay. It's +2 arm of throwing. This is my team name. You're
fucking giggling to yourself while you say it.
Just to keep that D&D reference going. The whole time during the draft, I was just I was equating everything to Dungeons and Dragons.
That's fine.
I was legitimately reading my Warhammer rule book during the draft because I was bored.
You're fucking one of the worst people ever.
So, basically, I didn't care what happened in the draft, except for the one guy I was drafting. I picked first in the draft.
Who'd you pick?
Peyton Manning.
That's probably okay.
I think it's who I picked. Anyway, the only reason I did it was because the guy who picked second was like, all right, pick anybody but Peyton Manning. I already called Peyton Manning. So I'm like, okay. And then I picked Peyton Manning.
Do you know why you should pick him, Josh?
Because his numbers were higher. See, that's the thing. Listen, I'm going to break down my strategy for fantasy football, Toby.
His numbers weren't higher. He had, like, the greatest passing season ever for any quarterback last year, I think.
Okay.
Like, he had, like, 50, 60-some touchdowns, shitload of yards. Like, if you had Peyton Manning last year in fantasy football, you pretty much won your league.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off right there because you're already telling me more about football than I want to know.
Well, we got to teach people, bitch!
Here's what I need to know. The app, when you bring it up, and it lists out P. Manning, then it has a number beside him, and his number was higher than everyone else's number. So he's better. Think of the number as his level. He was a higher level. Like, let's say... all right.
That number might have been his bye week. That number could have been a lot of things without seeing your stupid ass.
Listen, again, I don't know what bye week means.
Bye week is the week they don't play football.
It said projected. Or proj.
Yes, okay. So, proj, yes. His proj points.
His
very
level.
Good.
So, listen, it said QB under him. That is his class, meaning like that's like paladin, that's like wizard. So he is a level like 21 QB.
Okay. All
right. So my level 21 QB is going to be better than, so-and-so's level 14 wizard. So my wizard...
I'm impressed that you somehow managed to actually tie this into, like, role-playing Dungeons & Dragons shit.
I had to. It was the only way I could wrap my head around it.
No, like, I fuck with you a lot. This is legitimately really impressive to me.
Yeah.
As I'm listening to you ramble on about this.
Thank you. I think.
I mean, it's not really an insult. Like, it's very interesting. You're like, I don't know what it means, but this number is higher, so I'm just going to say it's level. And he is a higher level, so he's better.
Yeah.
And then they all have this QB stat. And I think it's like quotient of breaking, maybe. But he's a high quotient breaker, so I think he's actually better to start, a.k.a. put at the head of my party.
Yup. That's what it is. You're forming a party, and then your party is having a battle with the other person's party. So, speaking of the QB and not knowing what it means, I had them all figured out. I knew that QB was quarterback. I knew that RB is running back. Like, I had them all down, or most of them down.
Okay.
But and I knew that was like the position they're playing. Like, but then there was one like the draft was going on. I'm looking at the app. I'm not looking at the actual computer. So eventually, like, I'm having to pick WRs.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, so I need 2 WRs. I've got
Wizard
one so
Rogues,
far.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I was putting them in terms that I understood. But finally, I had to ask in the draft chat. I'm like, so what does WR mean? And
Josh.
They all had to laugh at me and tell me that it was a wide receiver.
That is exactly what it stands for.
Yeah. So and then I was picking. So all right. Throughout this week, then we drafted, had our team. My team, like, number, total level, if you will, was higher than the other guy's total level as we're heading towards the game. And then one of my guys got injured, Toby. Game over.
Okay.
Game over. He's out. So
he had 0. He didn't roll, saving, throw, something.
No, so I left him back at the inn, and I brought along one of the new adventurers that I had waiting at the inn. So swapped him right out, solved that problem right then and there.
Josh, did you win this week?
I did win this week, Toby. And it was, you know what? It was a handy victory as well.
I'm proud of you.
Now, one thing I don't understand is the whole, like, people were, like, trading, and, like, why would you ever trade? Like, at what point is, like, a number going to be better for one team than the other team? It's like a higher number's a higher number, Toby.
Okay, so it's time for sports talk.
I mean, this is teaching me. Like, this is not even, who cares?
This is teaching me.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fine. You know what? Fuck it. It's our goddamn show.
Exactly. We do what we want.
Okay, so let's say you had 3 running backs.
Okay.
And they all got 20 points a week.
Okay.
They're all level 20 running backs.
Level 20 rogues. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
But you had a level 20 wizard rogue wide receiver.
Uh-huh.
And you had a level 5 wizard rogue wide receiver.
Okay.
So, if you only start 2 running backs every week,
yeah,
and you have a third extra good one, you would want to get rid of that extra good one that you don't use to trade for like another wide receiver, so you can get more points in your wide receiver slot every week.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's why you would want to do that.
So I got to start looking at other people's parties then, and I got to see if I want any of their stuff.
You need to look at both where your team is not getting points every week. You need to look if you have extra players that are getting a shitload of points that you're not playing, and you need to watch the ad drop list to see if there's players to pick up.
Cool. So yeah, I already swapped one thing out. There's something that's like S/T. That one wasn't a player's name; it was a team name.
That's probably special teams, so defense.
Okay, so I didn't know what that's what meant. Anyway, I had one S/T, and it was really low projected. So I swapped it, I dropped it, and I picked up a different one that was better.
That's a good plan.
I know. I thought it was a good play. So here's where I think my lack of knowledge is going to serve me well, because when I picked somebody, someone else in the little chat was like, "Oh man, you can't pick him. Like he's gonna get injured halfway through the season." And it's like, okay, so you know at this point too much about football. All I know is his number was pretty high, but you're overthinking it, man. You're like at the horse track thinking you looked in the horse's eye and you know what he's gonna run. Like, and I'm just looking at pure numbers. I'm stats, Toby.
That's why you're going to lose. I wish you the best. I hope you win. But from experience, the years when I only did it off the numbers when I first started doing fantasy football, I never did good. Because if you're just picking off of last year's stats or projected stats, which is what you did this year,
yes,
projections are pretty much worthless because they might get hurt or shit like that.
Well, all right. I will say that yes, my projected numbers were lower than my actual numbers by a fair margin.
But that's fine.
Yeah. But I still
that's good. I mean, that's what you want to do. You want to get more points than they think you're going to get.
I mean, okay. Yes. So anyway, so this is something new to me. So it's happening.
Josh, I'm in 6 fantasy football related things.
That is too many.
On the flip side of Josh not knowing, I am pretty addicted to gambling, and I am in 6 different football related things. I have 3 fantasy football teams. I am in 2 football pick'ems.
I was going to ask how many are pick'ems.
I am in a survivor league, and I have a gambling habit that I take care of other places.
Yeah, there's a hotline that he calls sometimes.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
things are done there. But Josh, I went 3-0 this week. I won all my things. I got high week in the league that pays out for high week. So I'm starting to bring cash back in.
I have no idea what you just said to me.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
In my 3 leagues, I won all 3.
I got that part. When you started talking about high things, that's what I was lost.
I got the most points of all the teams this week.
Okay.
And the league I'm in that keeps track of that shit pays out money every week when you do that.
Oh, wow.
So I started getting money back because it's put money in.
That is super gambly.
Dude, fantasy football is like the biggest market there is. If you actually look up the amount of money spent on it,
yeah,
it's like millions and millions of dollars every year on fantasy football.
Are you one of those guys? So we did our draft like us online. Like I was watching Raw during it. That was another thing too. Is they loved the fact that I was watching wrestling during the fantasy football draft. But anyway, are you one of those guys? I've been to Buffalo Wild Wings before, Toby. Just putting that out there. And I've seen a group full, like a table full of men in jerseys with notebooks screaming at each other, and I believe it was a fantasy football draft.
That sure as shit was, especially if it was the past couple weeks.
Okay. No, this was last year.
It sure was, as long as it was right around
October. Around this time.
Or
yeah.
August.
Are you one of those guys?
You saw this is 2 weeks ago now. You saw the picture on Twitter where I threw the pepperoni at my friend's forehead during the draft.
Oh, okay. So you get together with people for the draft. Like it's
we all sit in someone's garage or at a bar, and we all get drunk and eat food and scream at each other. and then have fun. It's basically like a party involving gambling on football.
What percentage of you are wearing jerseys?
I would say half. Half are in jerseys, if not their favorite team's t-shirts.
You know, this really tells me that there's less of a difference between jocks and geeks than you even imagine. Like, you know, you guys all get together for your little convention and do cosplay. It's just you just have different words for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bringing the world together. That's what Geek Pop is doing.
We're breaking down barriers.
Yeah.
Josh, the best part of any fantasy football or any fantasy draft that I do, because we do baseball too, do a bunch of other shit. Me and one of my best friend's wives, not Josh's best friend, different best friend. Her and I both have ADD or ADHD. Okay. And it's so bad to the point that, like, when her and I start getting bored in the draft, which is usually in the first hour of, like, a 3-hour thing, we just fucking act up with each other the entire time, and everyone gets pissed off at us. But it makes me really happy to just fuck around the entire time and scream and, like, throw pepperoni at people or nonsense like that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's what made this draft fun, was when I got bored realizing...
I was bored and I was watching Raw, that was the best part of fantasy football.
I was doing a lot of things that were boring at the time. I was watching wrestling, and I was drafting fantasy football, so then I just started talking just mad trash to everyone in there. Just because again, they all knew I knew nothing. I literally asked what a running back was or where a wide receiver was a second ago. So then when I like start smack talking everyone in the room, it was pretty good times, Toby.
Joshua, while you were talking about Bitcoins a couple episodes ago, your foray into them.
Yeah, when I kind of dove headfirst into the seedy world of Bitcoin.
Apparently, there's a company that actually helps you save your Bitcoins into a physical wallet. But the best part about this is that they burn them onto a vinyl for you.
Why would you want... I mean, what?
Okay, so, like, remember I told the story about how there was a guy that lost his fucking hard drive with, like, millions of dollars of Bitcoins on it?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't want to lose your Bitcoins and you want them actually encrypted somewhere on a physical media,
okay,
this company will put your Bitcoin wallet information, which is AKA all your Bitcoin money, onto a CD or a 7-inch vinyl.
What? If I played that vinyl, what would it sound like?
Apparently, somehow your encryption code is on it.
How?
I don't know.
That's weird.
I'm not 100% sure how it works. But you can get a vinyl wallet for only 9/100ths of a Bitcoin, whatever that comes out to.
That's a lot of money.
Is it?
Like 0.9 Bitcoins?
0.09 Bitcoins.
0.09.
9/100ths.
I think that's like $50. Maybe not. But like one Bitcoin is like super expensive.
I guess that's a good way to A, rake in Bitcoins.
Yeah.
But B, I think that's fucking badass. If I was actually going to do Bitcoins, I had a bunch of money that was like, fuck this, I'm done. I can sell them at some point, but I'm cashing out right now. I would 100% put it on a record.
But it's
because that just seems like a thing to do.
It's just your, like, key, right? Like, it's your public key?
I think so.
Okay, so it's not actually like your I don't know enough about how Bitcoins work, but it's not your,
I don't either.
It's not your balance. Like, they're not recording a balance. They're recording, like, here's my public key, and you could go send that record to somebody to give them your public key.
I believe so.
That sounds that sounds like our kind of dumb, you know?
That's exactly what I want.
Yeah. I'm on board.
So basically it says your encrypted login key is converted into a sound file less than a minute long, and while it'll sound like white noise to anyone listening, a spectroscope app will be able to pluck the appropriate information out of the track.
That's freaking weird. You know, if I cared more about Bitcoin and if, like, my freaking encryption key, like had some sentimental value to me, that'd be awesome.
I guess so.
But, I mean, it's still pretty cool. But, like...
It's like a... I don't know. The whole fact that there's, like, a physical way to actually protect your shit just seems... I don't know. Between the fact that I collect records and that it's putting, like... completely digital information, like, this is as abstract as it gets. It's not fucking burning an MP3 on a record. This is literally, like, just shit in the ether of, like, digital information recorded onto a fucking record as a sound.
Because, you know, at that point, like, burning a podcast to like, a vinyl record is, like, old hat. It's like, 1995 called.
Yeah, that's fucking, like, steps behind this for some reason.
Yeah, it's like something that never was intended to have a physical manifestation now does. And it's here, right in front of me.
It's pretty exciting. I think it's cool as hell.
Here's the really messed up part. What happens when, like, that record gets sold to, like, a record store? It's like a used vinyl. You can just go buy someone's, like, Bitcoin encryption.
That'd be fucking amazing, too. You know how people find, like, goddamn, like, someone tucked away $100 in his sleeve.
Yeah.
You could buy some fucking record that's named like Bitcoin, and if you knew better, it could be like, this is someone's fucking encryption code.
To my spectrograph!
Yeah, exactly. There's apps for that shit now. It's all ties together.
And then once you decode it all, you could send them money. That would be probably the extent of what you can do.
I like it. I'm in. I'm on board.
Great.
Josh, the world's fucking ending.
That's true. That's accurate. That's a thing.
Josh, goddamn Hello Kitty is not a cat.
You know, I always had my suspectations. Is that a word?
Sure.
Yeah, I always suspected.
Josh, it's called a Hello fucking Kitty. It's a fucking cat, but it's not a cat.
You don't know, Toby, that Hello Kitty is not like something that main character that is clearly not a cat isn't saying. Like, it might be like that thing that we're seeing that we think is named Hello Kitty is saying like, oh, Hello Kitty, like it's seeing something else.
There's a fucking anthropologist who goddamn spent years studying Hello Kitty, and she came to the conclusion, she fucking broke it down, that the Hello Kitty is not a goddamn cat because she walks on two legs.
Wow.
She walks and sits like a two-legged creature. She has her own pet cat called Charmy Kitty, but she's not a fucking cat.
What distinguished university is this researcher from? Because it must be Ivy League.
I don't know, but she's curating a gig called Hello! Exploring the super cute world of Hello Kitty in some Japanese American National Museum.
I hate this person, first of all. Second of all,
it's a fucking cat!
Second of all, there's this comic book called Batman, and...
No, fuck that! No. Josh, Karopi's a goddamn frog! Batsaru's a penguin! They're fucking animals!
Toby, I'm gonna slow you down here for a minute, and
They're goddamn animals!
I'm gonna ask you to, one, explain to me what a Karopi is.
Karopi? It's a frog. It's the frog from Hello Kitty World, where the Hello Kitty's a goddamn cat.
What is the Pokemon that's the frog? Froakie? Is it a Froakie?
I think so. Froakie. That's a
frog?
Down.
No, because that's a Pokemon.
Yeah. No, it's a fucking frog.
Toby, no.
God, bullshit. That's like saying Mickey Mouse isn't a fucking mouse because he walks around. He's a goddamn mouse.
Toby, well, if we're getting into the rich history of Disney, why...
They're a bunch of racist fucks, I know, go on.
They are, yeah, for sure. And again, here's where my lack of Disney knowledge is going to bite me. So we got Pluto, right? Pluto's
a dog, he's on all fours. Goofy's a goddamn dog, but he stands up and walks around, and he's just goddamn Goofy. Donald Duck's a fucking duck, he quacks!
I'm
he talks, he
confused
quacks.
As to the side you're
There's
on.
No pants!
Should Hello Kitty wear pants?
I don't know. If she's not a goddamn cat, then yes.
If she's not...
If they're fucking taking the stance, she's not a goddamn cat now. She needs to have goddamn pants on because she's a person. She's a little girl, it says. She's a cartoon character. She's a little girl. She is a friend. She is not a cat.
Maybe in the world of Hello Kitty...
Josh, you're a friend. You're a little boy. You're not a cat. Hello, Joshy.
All of those are true statements about me. Except you should have said best friend. I just listen. I'll say
title of the episode: Best Goddamn Friends.
I'll save the rest of the notes till after the show, but like best friend. Maybe in the world of Hello Kitty, we don't. First of all, do we have any indication that Hello Kitty takes place on Earth?
I don't know. It's in Japan. Fucking shit. Wacky shit happens there.
Maybe it takes place in an alternate reality or a different planet where there are different species of cats. There are domesticated cats.
She's not a fucking cat, though. She's a little girl. She's a friend. She's not a cat. Hello Kitty.
I want to step back real quick, and I want to just confirm which side you're arguing for, because I have lost the plot.
It's just fucking goddamn ridiculous. She's a goddamn cat. I'm just repeating back what the quote says. She's not a cat because she's a little girl, Josh. She's a friend. She's not a cat. But her name's Hello Kitty, and she looks like a fucking cat with whiskers.
So this researcher,
her friend's a fucking penguin.
She concedes that the thing's name is Hello Kitty.
Yes.
See, it would make her point a little bit stronger if she said, we don't know what her name is. She's saying Hello Kitty.
That's her name.
What?
Her name is Hello Kitty.
Let's take a lot of steps back here.
She has a cat named Charmy Kitty, but that cat's a cat. Her name is Hello Kitty, but she's not a cat. That's like saying Mickey Mouse is a mouse, but Minnie Mouse isn't a mouse. You know the same goddamn last name.
Are there cartoons of Hello Kitty?
Yes.
Toby, is Hello Kitty in the room with you right now?
She's staring at me.
Yeah.
She's saying, say I'm not a fucking cat. And I'm saying she's not a cat, Josh. She's a little girl. She's a friend. Josh, do you like ice cream?
Dude, I love ice cream. I scream for ice cream.
Do you know what Hamature Schlemmisher is? It's some weird fucking catalog that sells weird
Come again?
things like, I don't know. It's some website. Hamacher Schlemmer. They sell like
the Hamhocker Schlimmer.
Yeah, they sell like weird sharper image, fancy toys for adults and outdoor shit and...
So, sharper image.
Basically. Yep. Well, they're like fancy sharper image.
What? Dude, you can't get fancier than sharper image.
Josh, would you ever make your own ice cream?
Yeah, totally. I love homemade ice cream.
Would you make your own ice cream in a Kickball ice cream maker?
I mean, I'm going to take it how I can get it, so yes.
So, you would eat ice cream you made by kicking a ball with ice cream inside for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's fucking disgusting.
Do you know how homemade ice cream is made? Because the way I've made it before, we literally went and scooped up snow that had just fell and made it out of snow that we scooped up that hit the ground.
That's weird, bud.
Dude, you want to talk about some stuff that when you really start thinking about it too much in your head, it's nasty. That was nasty.
It is fucking nasty. But the thing this reminds me of is they have flip-flops. I think they're called Reef brand flip-flops that have like bottle openers or you can hide alcohol in these things.
Reef, that's about right, yeah.
Yeah, but you can hide alcohol in them. In a flip-flop. The fucking dirtiest part of my body is my goddamn feet, probably. I would never want to put alcohol down by my feet and drink it later. Never.
You understand that you're not just balling up a ball of ice cream. Like there's like plastic or whatever between your foot and the ice cream.
It's still in a ball you're kicking around and rolling around in the dirt. Goddamn kids don't care. They're probably putting their hands in there to see if it's done yet. It's just gross. It's gross.
But then the kids can have fun, Toby, while they're getting their ice cream done.
That rhymed. I think we need to end this right now on that rhyme.
Done.
Josh, but if you go to Hammacher Schlemmer, you can buy it for only $35. Ships within one business day.
Well, I was on board when it didn't have a price attached to it.
Just like most things in life. Yep. They're better when they're free. Josh, last week we had a question of the week. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, the question of the week is a question that we ask every week.
Get fucking excited about this, motherfucker.
The question is a question that we ask every week.
I hate you. So, this week's question of the week is, you have to solve the great debate, is Hello Kitty a cat or not? You heard the facts earlier tonight.
Today. See, I thought we settled on, this is all dumb and we shouldn't care.
No, but that's for the others to decide.
Okay.
That's not for me to judge Hello Kitty and her living situation.
Toby, I want to present a third option. Cat, human, or other, and then tell us what other would be.
Okay. So last week, the question of the week, we asked about new VMA categories. Mm-hmm. If you recall, lyric video, Josh, I had quite some opinions on it.
I'm still on board. I still think lyric videos are more artsy than regular videos.
Okay. Well, either way, Musa wrote in and said, if we're talking just MTV Music Video Awards, he'll go with the most phoned-in, cliched, Instagram-filtered video ever, as well as most unnecessary dubstep and otherwise fine song award.
Most unnecessary dubstep?
Yeah.
All dubstep is kind of unnecessary, and that's what makes it amazing.
No, it's great.
But it's like we made these computers bang for an hour, and we recorded it, and it's song now.
Do you ever watch those videos when people have like 1950s tape drives all spin up at the same time
yeah.
to play like Star Wars?
Yeah.
We should bring that as a category.
That'd be great.
Best music video made by animatronics.
well, that just means that the Chuck E. Cheese band would win every time.
Yes! And Dylan said he partially agreed with me that typography is not an art, but if I actually would have watched the winning lyric video, he thinks it could have passed off as a music video on its own, because it's visually entertaining, as well as following the story of the song with animation. And it took more than 50 cents to make. So I guess that's like the breaking point, 50 cents to make.
So anything below 50 cents is not art, and anything above 50 cents can be art?
I guess so.
So, okay, that's a weird capitalistic view on art.
And he said that best YouTube music video would be awesome, since there's a lot of content creators out there that are too moral to sign with a label, or just have too little following to get noticed. I want to point out that Justin Bieber came from YouTube, so we should probably ban YouTube from things.
Clearly YouTube is not infallible, is what that tells us.
Yeah.
I want to see, here's my category. I didn't mention this last time. I want to see best music video that can't be on YouTube because it has too many boobs.
That's called, like, just go to Pornhub, I guess. That's called the Adult Video Awards, AVAs? Is that right?
I want to see the best Vimeo-only music video.
That one goes to Bloodhound Gang, Chasey Lane.
Yeah,
just so you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you ever see it?
I think so.
The real one?
I think so.
Okay.
Or like that one, like, Rammstein video where it's just people having sex the whole time.
Pussy?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That sounds right.
I'm pretty sure that's the name of the song.
Okay.
If you want to answer the question of the week, which again was, what is Hello Kitty? It's cast@geek-pop.com. And you also can ask us questions that we're going to answer live on the air because we are advice givers, Josh.
Yeah, Toby, I went over to my closet, or my boudoir, if you will, and I got out my best question answering hat, and I'm now donning it. I'm putting it on.
So you're ready for this?
The hat is on, Toby. The question answering hat is atop my skull.
Okay, because Musa wants to know, can a tattoo on a place like an ass or crotch be found desirable? And if so, what tattoo would have to be there to make it desirable?
I think like a bullseye right around the hole. Because then it's like a game within a game. I mean, if you think about it. It's like you know, you got to hit the ball.
No, I know what you're saying. So that would make it desirable for you. If you were like, man, this is 20 times better because instead of just like a normal tramp stamp, it's a fucking actual bullseye.
Well, like, listen, that'd be like if someone.
I'm looking at your asshole. Mm-hmm. I see a bullseye. You're my favorite girl ever.
Well, like...
You're a classy dame I can take home to mom. Mom, she has a bullseye on her asshole.
So if someone was like, hey, do you want to do this really fun thing? Or do you want to do this really fun thing and also play Monopoly at the same time? I'd be like, yeah, let's do the thing with Monopoly added. Like, I'm going to pick the extra game for sure.
So if there was like a Monopoly board down there, you could play games on it.
Well, then who's the second player, like the other three players? Like, I need a solo game. So if it was like solitaire or something, like if I could do like, I don't know, some like connect the dot sort of business.
So if there's like a Connect 4 board.
Yeah, that'd work. I could get down with that. Or like how about this like a word search? Because that takes a lot of time too. So like you're gonna have incentive to like stay back there and like solve the puzzle.
Oh my god! I can't believe this is the worst thing ever.
What's a game breaker for you? So like clothes come off.
I feel like if there was flames coming off of either one of those areas, I feel like that'd be a sign of like you might feel burning afterwards.
Yeah, like any kind of joke that like insinuates an STD is probably like maybe you should just nope out of that room right then and there.
Like fire or spikes or barbed wire or anything like that. Uh-huh. That'd probably be like It's like putting your thing in a bear trap. You just don't know what's gonna happen.
Have you ever seen those girls that get tattoos of like the dicks as butterflies? Is that? I mean, have you seen those?
I know. What the fuck is that?
It's a butterfly, but if you look really close at it, it's made up out of dicks. Well, I've seen multiple tattoos of that.
That sounds classy as fuck. I feel like that's what we need.
So you're into that? Like if a girl like dropped trow in your room and had a dick tattoo that was a butterfly, you'd be like, all right, any port in a storm, I guess.
Unless there's a conversation of like, my butterfly is built up with 37 dicks, one for every dick I've taken. And I'd be like, this might be too many for me.
What if she tried to like high road it and she was like, I'm a beautiful butterfly that don't need no man or something?
Then why don't you be over the house?
Well, maybe she just wants a man. Maybe she. What if she tries to tell you that like
I want a partner?
Yeah. Well, she has a dick butterfly tattoo, but she just really wants to find a life partner.
I really feel like dick butterfly tattoo would probably be a good name of this episode.
Done.
Dylan wants to know how we come up with show ideas because he made a commitment to his YouTube channel and he's worried about making content now.
Here's what we do: make content about not being able to make content.
No, here's what we do. I'm going to pull back the veil, Josh.
Oh, this is where I get shit on for a while, isn't it?
Josh and I usually share a Google Doc. And by share the Google Doc, I mean I write things in it all week. And Josh goes, okay, I'm ready for the show now.
No, it was pretty even this week. It was pretty even this week.
So after 11 weeks, you feel like you're an equal contributor to what goes on?
I have equally contributed multiple weeks.
Okay, but anyway, so what we usually do is we just find random news stories or dumb bullshit that happened to us in our life. That's the big difference between if you're actually trying to make specific content, like for YouTube, I guess, or if you're just talking. Because it's easy for Josh and I just to make up bullshit because like that. We have like 55 years of life experience between us. There's so many wells to dig down instead of being like
Toby's 45 of that.
yeah, Josh is 10.
Yep.
This whole podcast is illegal.
You guys didn't know that, but yeah, it's a big age difference between the two of us.
If you listen every week, my age actually varies week by week. And it jumps like by different years.
Yeah,
so it's like a mystery.
I think I add a year every time I say how old you are.
I'm like Benjamin Button, kind of.
Except you're aging not in reverse. You're like Benjamin Button in reverse, which is just a regular person. You know, in hindsight, we're all kind of Benjamin Button in reverse.
Josh, Ernesto wants to know what the worst video game that you ever played is.
Oh, that's it's something on the NES, I'm sure. Worst one ever. I remember I rented Castlevania 2, I think.
Simon's Quest, the side scroll Link to
yes,
Link to
Simon's
Adventure
Quest.
one?
I rented that when I was a kid. Didn't really know much about Castlevania. I was like really, really young. Rented it, and it was in the summer, and I was staying in my grandma's house, and took it over to her house. She had a NES. I played it, and I got to a part where because that game's crazy, because to advance in certain parts, you have to kneel in certain places, and it's nuts. Like you would never know how to do any of it. No,
because where you're supposed to kneel, it says the westerly wall brings wind to shame you, and you get that hint from one of the townspeople that you've never talked to because it's boring, and you're supposed to know the westerly wind brings you that means kneel next to the wall, all at the end of the map, and then something happens.
Sure, yeah, because you know what, that seems straightforward and reasonable.
Well, it's not even straightforward. But when the game came out in 90. When GameFAQs and the internet wasn't a huge thing,
exactly.
It's really easy. And they have to call Nintendo Powerline for $2.99 a minute, 99 cents for every additional minute, and they can go, what the old woman means in Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, is
that how
that you
is that how they talked? Is that
I don't know. If you're trying to fucking work for $1 a minute,
so you're saying they're not only gouging you per minute rate, they're going to also draw their words out.
Yeah, I mean that's how I extend the podcast too. If I talk as slow as possible, this 30-minute podcast jumps up to an hour and a half.
If we talked like that, I was going to say these podcasts would be 4-hour extravaganzas, because I think both of us talk really fast.
I would talk way too fast. I know I talked way too fast.
We are like a New York podcast, Toby.
Hey, what's this?
Get yourself a slice. Forget about it.
Oh, forget about it.
I don't know anything else that's stereotypically New York.
Get the fuck out of the road, asshole!
Yeah. But anyway, Toby, important stuff. Back to Castlevania. I got to a point where there was a body of water that I couldn't cross, and I spent...
You have to bring garlic for the what's-his-name.
Would you shut up knowing about that game for a minute? Because, Toby, when I was little and had this game, and I knew nothing about it, I got stuck. I got really angry at it. So I think I was yelling and stuff. So when my mom came to get me after work, my grandma handed her the game and said don't bring this back here anymore.
Never again.
Yeah, she put her foot down. It's I never want to see Castlevania here.
That game sucked for that kind of stuff, especially playing it growing up versus now. I think I rented a game once. I want to say it was Casino Kid or Wall Street Kid, and it was just the most boring. I don't remember if it was just gambling or if it was stock market, and it had a weird gambling mini game. But either way, it was a piece of shit. I was really pissed off renting that game.
Sounds terrible.
That was shit. I feel like I tried to play Noah Bunga's Ambition once, or the three Defenders of the Crown's that shitty game.
Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
That one sucks too. Any of those games where you're fucking 8 years old trying to play action and adventure, and all of a sudden you're trying to read dialogues of text and doing things I understand,
and trying to discern Japanese 14th century politics at the same time.
Yeah, that's way too complicated for
you,
my little brain.
Just all now even.
Yeah, probably.
I couldn't get
one of the biggest fuck you games.
Yeah, I
love the game, but it can fuck off. Is Bubble Bobble?
Yeah,
Bubble Bobble?
Definitely
the best part of that game. You get to level 99. You fight the final boss. You beat the boss, and it goes, well, you didn't rescue the girls because you didn't do this special thing from levels 90 to 99 you have no idea about. Start the game over now. And the whole game starts over to get to 99 again.
It ends with suck it, kid. It goes back.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much like your princess is in another castle line, but just a fucking roundhouse kick to the face instead of a little ball tap.
But as a kid, that was awesome, though, because then you got to play it again, and then you had something new to look forward to. Think about it.
Maybe. But if you want to ask us a question for, learn some life shit, it's cast at geek-pop.com. Josh, we got some reviews this week.
Great.
Because you can find us on Stitcher and iTunes. That's where you can leave us reviews, and we'll read them on the air.
Because I want to say, Toby, we've been blowing this up.
No, I'm not going to do it.
We've been spitting out hot fire.
That for sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say I've been blowing stuff all day, every day. But that doesn't sound right.
Yep.
That sounds inappropriate.
That sounds accurate, but not what you want to put out in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on iTunes, Josh, me, myself, and I, 139782, 5 stars. 5 stars,
That's a
Josh.
lot of stars.
Subject, hilarious and awesome guys. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you're hilarious / awesome kind of guy?
I think all three of those things,
Pertain?
describe me to a T, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
Josh, he wants people to know he's been a fan of these guys since they did O&A on YouTube, and they were funny then and still now. These guys talk about life stuff and other complete random shit, and they make it funny.
He's old school, loving us.
Yeah, like 3 years. 3 years repping. I'll give you a badge.
Yeah, it's like on Reddit, like he's in the 3-year club and he gets a little thing to put on his profile.
Josh, I hit the 6-year club on Reddit today. That means I've had a corporate job for 6 years. That's how I track those two things.
I love that you told me that today, and you're like, wow, 6 years on Reddit. That means that 6 years ago, like today, I started my first real job. And it's like,
Yeah.
I love that almost instantly you checked out of work.
At the first job I had, the kid that was training me was the same age as me.
Uh-huh.
So we were like, his cube was away from like the rest of the office. So we're hanging out, like looking for tickets to do and shit. And he's like, well, here's what I do in my downtime, and showed me Reddit. So it took me about a week to get my own computer where I wasn't just sharing his. And at that point, I signed up for Reddit, and then I was on there ever since.
It's like, you're gonna want to be on Reddit pretty much all day long.
Yeah, and I have been for the past 6 years.
Great. Fun.
Yay! And Musa left us a review on iTunes, 5 out of 5 stars.
Also, that's a lot of
Wait, that's
stars.
Stitcher. That was Stitcher. I apologize, Musa. That was Stitcher. All the stars look the same to me. I forget which comes from where.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Subject, fresh product fueled on old ideas and concepts. He wants people to know, well, in a summary sort of way, this podcast is two friends having fun and laughing along with their audience rather than to their audience. It's an incredibly enjoyable listen if you have time for it to let the comedy and good times sink in and really start taking effect. Like other reviews have said in other listening tools, it's like hanging out with your friends. And really, in an entertainment comedy-based podcast, what more can you ask for? It's just great in general. I would recommend it to anyone looking for a good time.
The only thing I would change in that is best friends, not just friends.
I would recommend, if you're looking for a good time, call Josh's mom.
That is not accurate. My mom is a classy lady, and you will treat her as such.
She likes good times.
Who doesn't like a good time, really?
Your dad when I'm giving it to your mom.
Wow.
Best friends forever!
You know what? I might be subscribing more to the frenemy concept that you were presenting earlier.
Thank you. So if you want to leave us a review on Stitcher or on iTunes, you can find us on both. We're fighting against other Geek Pops because, I have poor ideas every day. And naming the podcast after whatever people have named podcasts, not the best idea. But the one that says Toby and Josh, you click on that one, you review us, and we'll read it.
We're the only Geek Pop that matters. I want to put that out
Yeah!
there. Yeah. F all the other... We're at war with all the other Geek Pops.
Josh, to wrap it up for the week, where else can you find you at?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at GI_Josh. Did you like...
Okay!
Like the emphasis on weird words.
And you can find me at Girls Heart Geeks on Twitter, and all of the other things that both Josh and I do in our spare time other than being frenemies. They're all linked like motherfuckers all over our Twitters, so check everything else out there. And again, if you want to talk to us, cast at geek-pop.com. Josh.
Toby.
It's been another week.